Hello, I'm Councilmember Bill Farmer, welcoming you to another very special edition of Lexplore. We've passed the edge of the 5th District and come almost to the edge of the county. Would that be correct, Billy?
Yes, we are right on the county line with Woodford County.
I am joined by Billy Van Pelt, who is the director, among other things, of the PDR program, Purchase and Development Rights Program, for the city of Lexington and the county of Fayette. Billy?
Bill, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for doing, you wear many hats in government, as a lot of people do.
Yes.
And we could talk about which one's the most important or which one means the most, but a lot of people who know you and the work that you do know how important PDR is, so I'm glad to come out today and kind of find out what it's like to be out in 100-degree weather and talk civilly to one another.
Well, Bill, we're just very excited that we're in our 12th year of operation.
Yeah.
We're at 26,235 acres with 232 farms, so we're over 52% of our goal of conserving farmland for our general ag, equine, and tourism industries here in Fayette County.
That's got to be, I mean, I can tell you're excited, but a lot of people don't know how far we've come and kind of how fast. I mean,
yes.
I was on council when we passed the PDR ordinance and the Rural Land Management Board was set up.
Yes.
But I think it's always important to understand we've put some money up, but so has the state and the federal government.
Yes, it's very important to talk about how we've leveraged the local tax dollar. Lexington has now invested about $31 million as of FY13.
Okay.
The feds have invested $21 million.
All right.
And the state has invested over $16 million. So we're very excited about the leveraging that we've done for our local tax dollars. So we've had a one-to-one match for every dollar that we've invested in the program, and we've had a 2-to-1 match on about $6.1 million.
So we've had some very willing partners.
We have.
That continue to be partners.
Yes, and they're stakeholders in this program. That includes the Kentucky Agricultural Development Board.
Okay.
The program would not have been implemented without their assistance with the initial match of the $15 million that they gave us.
Now, I was unfamiliar, or I'd forgotten that.
Yes.
That was a big commitment.
It was a huge commitment. They gave us $15 million when we started. They've also allocated additional funds over the last 10 years or so. Our federal funding partners, the Farm and Ranch Lands Protection Program, they have also assisted us with over $20 million in matching grants. And so everyone understands that what we're preserving is the economic development engine that drives a collective $3 billion a year agribusiness industry here. Our tourism industry alone accounts for $1.6 billion in expenditures. So if you consider the fact that 60% of the visitors to Lexington come here to see our farms, a big chunk of that $1.6 billion can be attributed to our rural landscape.
That's a lot of information to pass along. Is there a quantifiable way to say there are more tourists now than 12 years ago?
Well, I think that we have drawn attention to and focused more on agritourism.
Oh, I agree. It has emerged. It's part of the lexicon now. It didn't used to be.
It has. We have the Blue Horse, Lex, now.
Oh, yeah.
So we have a symbol for our tourism industry here.
That's true.
We have
That's true.
a thriving bourbon industry, a wine industry, and we have a multifaceted equine industry that has taken off as a result of the World Equestrian Games.
Well, and I'm sure a lot of people know, but I think it's just, Fayette County is one of the largest producing counties anywhere for the amount of business or things that are grown, bought, and sold here.
Exactly. In 2010, Fayette County was the #1 agriculture county in Kentucky out of 120 counties. Fayette County accounted for 10% of all the general ag dollars in the state. And something else to point out, for the first time, Kentucky has exceeded $5 billion in an economic impact for agriculture. It's our biggest industry.
Dallas likes it.
Yes.
That's great. Thank you, Dallas.
So, but the rural area is the other side of the coin from the urban area. Our urban area is equally as important to our brand. And I know we're also working on making the urban area just as vibrant and just as special and preserving it as we have our rural area.
It is a balancing act, you're right,
It
because
is.
there are different constituencies and different uses, but you know, just to drive out here today, it just totally changes your point of view about what's going on and how you feel about where you live, because we were a little bit late getting here, but we enjoyed being late
Yes.
because it was beautiful to drive out here.
It's our international calling card. Our rural landscape, our board fences, everything that makes Lexington so unique. When our visitors fly in over the farmland
Absolutely.
into Bluegrass Airport, you know, even if you don't live in the rural area or maybe don't engage it all that often, it is a quality of life issue. People want to
True.
live here and build houses here because we have this unique rural landscape that forms a horseshoe around our urban area.
People do ooh and ah when you're on the plane coming in the daytime.
They do.
I just flown in recently, and I'm sitting next to people, and they all, everyone's looking out the window because it's so beautiful to fly into Lexington. Gauge for me the interest in the PDR program. How do people get in contact with you, and then what's the pipeline like?
Sure. Well, we have a continuous application cycle.
Okay.
So every year the applications are due the last business day of June. So
we're there.
Today's
Yeah.
the deadline for the next round.
This may be broadcast later.
And that's good. We're going to have over 40 applications on almost 4,000 acres of
Wow.
farmland, and we will have a need of about $9 million. So what we have to do is take those top-ranked farms and go through our acquisition process and continue to live within our means and the budget,
Sure.
and conserve farmland in a way that we can.
So you have to look at it strategically then about what's the best piece maybe to hold a certain area, because you can't get all the money in that place at one time.
Well, let me explain our ranking system.
Okay.
Our acquisition process is totally objective. So the ordinance that was adopted by the council governs the PDR
Okay.
acquisition process. So the more acreage you have, the higher quality soils you have, the more road frontage you have, the more farming activity that you have, the more farm infrastructure that you have. Those are the points that you get to raise you up in the ranking. But we also give environmental points for
Okay.
blue line streams, watersheds, and points for cultural items such as stone fences, historic houses, and other things that enrich our rural landscape from a cultural and historic standpoint.
Is any of that available online for people to
Yes,
see?
it is. Everything is on the PDR website
Okay.
at lexingtonky.gov.
All right.
And I'm also available at 425-2227 or at B Van Pelt at lexingtonky.gov.
Well, let's take a moment and meet some of our PDR, I guess, successful applicants,
Exactly.
and then we'll talk to them about how PDRs work for them, and we'll be right back. We've been joined by Patrick and Erica Higginbotham and their beautiful family. They're successful PDR applicants, and we're here today to talk about how well that's all gone. Thank you for letting us come out today.
We enjoyed having you. We appreciate you coming out.
Certainly.
My wife and I bought the farm about 3.5 years ago, and it was an established boarding facility at the time.
Oh, really? Okay.
Manley Farm.
Yes.
Several people will probably remember that name. We have remodeled extensively over the last 3.5 years, but we board horses, and we have a variety of situations in which we board.
You have nice barns. I mean, it's great.
Thank you. We have spent a fair amount of time and money to try to improve the place.
Sure.
Some of which has been helped by the PDR. We have about 35 stalls.
Okay.
So we have 35, we have a capacity of about 35 horses, a little over 100 acres on the farm total. We grow all our own feed,
Wow.
or all our own hay.
Well, I hear you. Did you come from this background? Was this something part of how you grew up? Or?
My wife and I both grew up on farms in South Central Kentucky,
Okay.
down around Lake Cumberland in Columbia. We both grew up there, and we both grew up on farms. I grew up on a cattle farm, and we did some crops as well. She actually grew up on a dairy. Her dad was a dairy farmer.
Sounds wonderful.
They had tobacco and hay cropped pretty extensively. She had horses, but I actually didn't. And we always wanted to farm. My
Sure.
dad told me when I was a kid, go get a job so that you can afford to farm.
It sounds like the jewelry business, but that's another
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
Okay.
And so when we started having kids, it really became more and more of a desire for us to get on the farm, because there's a lot of, I guess, the good things that I would say I have in me that I wanted to put in my kids that I got from the responsibility of growing up on a farm. So, you know, we happened to find this place. It seemed like something that would be good that we could do.
Y'all wanted to come to Lexington?
Yeah. We'd committed to staying in Lexington. We were living here.
Oh, I got you. All right.
We
I'm
were
good.
living
All right.
here in a subdivision, and we wanted the farm. And so this was an opportunity that we took.
Was PDR part of the alchemy of getting the farm, or was it something after you were already here that you explored?
I knew about it when we bought the place, or when we were looking after it. And we applied relatively soon after buying the place, but we bought the place understanding that we may never be accepted into the program.
Okay, I mean, that's an interesting, that's a very important fact.
Right, right. But it has helped tremendously, primarily because it's lightened the debt load considerably. So it's made, it's made the improvements possible so that from our standpoint, we can run a more effective, safer, more efficient business.
It's a beautiful operation.
Thank you.
I mean, and I'm sure PDR helped that come
Dramatically.
about faster or better or something.
When we bought the place, we thought we would be where we are right now in 10 or 12 years. Because of the PDR and some other fortunate circumstances, we're 3 years into where we would have been in 12 without the money.
How was the application process, or what? I mean, was it like getting tickets to Rupp Arena or something? I mean,
No.
did you?
No. I contacted Billy. We had several phone conversations. He basically explained the process, which he had talked about before, but there is a very brief, very simple application process, and it's a small application fee for a perpetual application from year to year. I turned all that in, and then it's scored. And one of the things that I really appreciate, and I've told a lot of people about, is how objective it is, because
You mentioned that, Billy.
There's not, you know, with a lot of programs, there's lots of politics involved, and in this, it was a relatively straightforward. Here are the, and that's not a shot at anybody, but that's just we know how things are.
I'm smiling.
I know, but it's a very simple scored thing. He sends you the score, and they start at the top of the list with how much money they have to buy.
Work their way down.
Acreage until they get down, and we were fortunate enough to be chosen.
Actually, the first year we weren't chosen.
The first year we weren't chosen. It was the second
so
year.
you made two? Did you?
Right.
Do you then reapply? How's it work, Billy?
No, it only takes one application.
Okay.
So once you apply, your application will roll forward from year to year until your ranking is such that you can receive an offer. Now, there's no guarantee there because we're subject to an annual appropriation just like everybody else.
Or not, or it can be cut because it's been cut the last couple of years.
So what we do is we look at those top ranked farms and we work our way down, and you all did move up in the ranking, and there are other farms in this area that are in the PDR program.
Right.
We have 1,500 acres conserved on Military Pike.
And that's where we are.
It is, and this is a critical mass of conserved farmland.
We're gonna run out of time, and you all, beautiful family, wonderful farm. We're glad to have you in Fayette County and to keep you in Fayette County. Is there any sort of, I mean, is there a fraternity of PDR protected farms? Do y'all have an annual picnic or anything, or what? I mean,
We are planning an event that will recognize everyone that has a conservation easement on their farm.
All right.
Within probably by the end of this year. And we've done that in the past. We did it in 2004 when the American Farmland Trust held their national conference in Lexington. And we had a dinner, and every person in the state of Kentucky with a conservation easement was at that dinner.
I just wonder, because I think it's interesting for people to exchange their stories, their successes, and maybe find out more about how to do things.
And we have had a private citizen donate the money for that event, so you'll hear more about that in the future.
We will look for, we may have to do a part 2 at some point.
Yes.
Is that all right?
That's right.
Patrick, thank you. Erica, pleasure to meet you and your beautiful family.
Thank you.
Billy, thank you for your job well done.
Thank you.
Pleasure. I'm Bill Farmer for Lexplore. If I can be of help in the council office, please give me a call or go to the website. Thank you very much.